guys, so the time has come for me to talk about the books I want to read in 2026. So we're going to go over my TBR I have planned. In previous years, I would associate how many books I'm going to read with the year. So in 2025, I had 25 books on my TBR. 2024, I had 24 books. But I think it's gotten to the point where it's too many books, especially when I'm not reading them. I read like 2 books from my TBR last year, and the year prior I read like 2 books as well. So we're going to change the number. We're going to do 15 books this year, which is still quite a bit, but it feels a lot more reasonable and less daunting. And I've also changed the way I've chosen the books. So last year I picked some books from my physical TBR, and then I picked some books that I didn't own that I wanted to read. And that was a problem because I had to buy a lot of the books and then I didn't end up reading them. The year prior, in 2024, I picked a lot of books that I didn't own as well. And so I had to buy most of them and then I didn't read them. So I've picked all books from my TBR except for one. One book I do have to buy. But that's because I thought it was on my TBR. I realized it wasn't, but I really want to read it, so I'm keeping it anyways. I'm gonna buy it and read it. But yes, these are all books I own. I really need to get through my physical TBR. Like, I don't even want to buy books. When I go to the bookstore, I don't even want to buy books. It's gotten to the point where I literally don't have a desire to buy books, which is not good, you know, because that's like part of my life. It brings me so much joy to buy books that I don't even want to look at them. So we need to break down my physical TBR. I don't even know how many books are on there. I'm going to make that a big goal of this year, but I'm not going to talk a lot about that in this video. I think that'll be in my January reset. I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to make videos about my physical TBR and trying to get it down because I have too many books. But yes, all of these books are on my TBR. I also asked on my Instagram which books on my TBR I should read this year, and so I incorporated a lot of those books that were chosen because I thought that'd also be fun to kind of pick books that people I know really love. Check out my Instagram if you like, because I post book stuff on there all the time. I'm very active on there, and I'm also always asking like what videos I should post and stuff like that. So we have a very fun TBR. A lot of these books have been in previous TBRs. They've been in previous yearly TBRs and like monthly TBRs. They are books I've been wanting to get to for a while, and some are ones I've been really excited to read, and there are a few that I'm a little scared to read but I do want to get to. So yeah, we have an interesting TBR. We should just get into it. So yeah, let's start with book number 1, which is Circe by Madeline Miller. This has been on so many TBRs. I've been really wanting to get to it. I read The Song of Achilles in 2023, I think it was, or maybe the year before, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure how I'd feel about it now since it's been quite a few years since I've read it, and I read it at the start of my book journey, but I did really enjoy it, and I want to continue with the next book. So this is by the same author. It is not like a series or anything, but it's another Greek mythological retelling, and I've really enjoyed reading those so far, and I've also heard really good things about Circe. For some reason I have a feeling I'm gonna like this even more than The Song of Achilles. I rated that book a 4 stars and I really did like it, but I don't feel like really attached to it like other people do, and so I'm excited for this book because I feel like I could really like it. And it's just been on TBRs for so long that I just need to get to it at this point. We then have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is a romance. This was one of the books that was recommended by a friend on Instagram. This is a part of a long romance series that's been popular for quite a while. I've been wanting to read it for a really long time. I just haven't gone to it. It seems kind of a bit daunting because it's such a long series, and I think the books follow multiple couples, but some books follow the same couple over and over again, and they also like battle with addictions and stuff, and there's some hardship in the books. So it's a little daunting, but I've only heard really good things. People are really attached to these couples and these books, so I think it could be really good, and I really want to give this series a go and finally start it. We then have a very scary book for me. So we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a beloved book by many people. People rave about this book, love it. I think it's also being adapted into a movie with Elle Fanning and Dakota Fanning, which I love Elle Fanning so much. I think that is right. I didn't really look into it, but I'm not a big one for book adaptations, but I love Elle Fanning, so I'm like, I would really like to watch that. So I think it'd be a good idea to finally get to this book. I think it's a very heartbreaking and sad book, which scares me. It's also historical fiction, I think, which I don't read very often, and I think there's a theme of war and stuff, which is just not very exciting and not really what I want to read. But like I said, I've heard amazing things, and a lot of people that have read this out of their comfort zone also really loved it, so I really do want to give it a go, and I want to branch out more into other genres. We have 2 books that I'm going to do kind of at the same time because they're very similar. So we have Anne of Green Gables and we have The Secret Garden. These have been also on mini TBRs. They were on my spring TBR last year. I didn't get to them, but they are children's classics. They have been books I've been wanting to read for a really long time. I started Anne of Green Gables a few years ago and I didn't finish it. I got like 100 pages in, but I really want to pick them back up, especially Anne of Green Gables. There's like a long series and I really want to read the series. Katie's reading has been like reading the series recently and it's made me really want to pick it up. Also, I loved the TV show. And then for The Secret Garden, my mum has told me to read this book since I was a child and I've never picked it up, and I finally have it. Well, I've had it for like a year now and I really want to get to it. And these books just feel, they have similar vibes to me. Like, I feel like they're a little sad. I don't actually know The Secret Garden story. I think it's a bit sad, but they're also like very whimsical with these beautiful places and landscapes and stuff that they discover. I'm very excited for these books and I really want to get to them. I think what puts me off them is that they're a bit of a slower read since they're a classic, but you know, it's okay to read books slower. You don't have to read books in like 3 days and read them super quickly all the time. Like, you can read books slower, and I need to acknowledge that. Next we have 10,000 Stitches by Olivia Atwater. So first book in this series is Half a Soul, which I read a few years ago and I really liked it. So this book is a part of the series. You don't have to read all of them and you don't have to read them in order. They follow like different characters, but I've heard good things about the other books. I think the third book people really like, The Long Shadow. Maybe it's the one after, I'm not sure, but I've just heard good things about all of the books and I really enjoyed the first one, so why would I not read the second one? I just haven't gotten to it yet. I'm not sure what happens in this book, but in the first one there's like some magic in this fairy realm where fairies are quite evil, and it's also set in, I think it's the Victorian era. I think the main character Effie makes a promise with a fae, which is very dangerous. It sounds intriguing. It's also quite short, which I think will be fun. Next we have Shadow and Bone. I've had this on my TBR forever as well. This is such a popular series. So like Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows series. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I've just been scared because it doesn't really seem like the series for me. Like, it's a fantasy, but it seems kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to describe my thoughts. I read fantasies with a lot of romance, you know, and this just doesn't seem like the series for me, but so many people love it. I've also heard people don't like the Shadow and Bone series as much as the Six of Crows series, but people recommend to read this series first, so I do want to read this one first, see how I feel. I'm intrigued, and I do want to read more fantasy instead of always reading just fantasy romance. But yeah, I feel like it'll be fun, in the very least. It's not gonna hurt for me to pick up this book. Ooh, this book I'm very excited for, Assistant to the Villain. This is, I think, a cozy fantasy of romance with a lot of humour. It reminds me of the Thrown in the Dark series, Villains and Virtues, which is one of my favourite series ever, which is why I'm very excited for it, because it seems similar in the way that it's fun and silly. The male main character is a villain. It might be a bit of like a grumpy romance at first. It seems very fun. I've heard good things. I'm very excited for it, so I really want to get to it. Yeah. And it's part of a series. I think the third book is out now. I don't really know what happens in this book. I think the female main character is working for the villain. He's supposed to be evil, but like, is he really evil? We'll see about that. We have a hefty book. So, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I've never read from Brandon Sanderson before, but I really wanted to. People love him and say great things about his fantasy, so I want to start with Mistborn. I think it's what I see most people recommending to start with when it comes to series. He has so many series and books, so I thought I'd start with Mistborn. I think it's one of his most popular fantasy series. I have no clue what it's about. I don't think there's romance or anything, but I'm very excited for this book. Also very like nervous because it's such a big book and people say amazing things about this author, so it like makes me, I don't know why that makes me nervous, but I feel like it might be a bit of a complicated read, but we'll have to see. Also, this book is butchered. It's like sliced diagonally from Amazon. I don't know why they did that, but anyways, you can tell when I do this. Look at the page, it's like diagonal. Okay. Next we have a fun romance. So we have Out of a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I haven't read any books by her yet, but I wanted to read a romance by her for a while. This is one of her most popular romances. I think they're parenting together. Oh yes, it's An Unexpected Pregnancy, which I don't think I've even read a surprise pregnancy book, but I'm not like turned off by it. I know a lot of people hate that trope in books, but I don't really care. I haven't read it, so I don't know, but I don't think I'd really care that much. I mean, it depends, you know, how it's done, but I've heard everyone loves Bo, the male main character. I think there's some hardship. It's a little bit sad, but overall a very happy ending. And obviously they go through a lot while they have like a child together when they don't know each other. But yeah, it sounds fun and heartwarming. So I'm very excited. I'm really excited to also read a book by Hannah Bonin Young finally and see if I like her writing. Next we have Belladonna. So this is the first book in a fantasy series. Another series I've wanted to read for a while. I think it's a fantasy romance. And we're following, I think her name is Belladonna. And oh no, her name is Signa. Why did I think her name was Belladonna? She can see death himself. I think her whole life she has. And I think she lives an odd life. I think everyone around her dies. And she can see ghosts or something very creepy and weird, but it sounds very intriguing. And she has like a relationship with death. I don't know how this relationship unfolds, if there's a romance between them, but like if there is, I would really like that because that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd be very intrigued to see how that goes. But I've never really read a book where like death is like a person, so I'm very intrigued by the idea. I really want to pick it up, so I definitely want to add this to my TBR. Next we have Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I have been wanting to read something by this author for a while. People love her. This is one of her series I really wanted to read. I don't know what it's about, actually. Yeah, I have no clue. I have no clue. I think it's mostly a fantasy. We're following Fitz, who is despised, and he's the son of a king, I think, and he trains to be an assassin. It's a bit of a long series, I think, but I've heard amazing things and I really want to read it. And like I said before, I want to read more fantasy and get into authors that are really, really popular and loved for hopefully a reason. We then have The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. So one of my friends on Insta told me to read this book for my TBR, and I was like, what is The Stolen Heir? Do I even own that book? And when I realized what it was, I was like, oh my god. I really need to read my TBR because there are books on there that I don't even realize I have and I forget what they are. Like, I was like, what is The Stolen Heir? It's literally a part of the Cruel Prince series. Like, are you kidding me? I loved the Cruel Prince series. I read it 2 years ago, I think. Around that time when I finished it is when this book came out, and I bought it and I never picked it up. I heard a lot of mixed things when it came out, and so I was very nervous to read it. I didn't want to be let down if I didn't like it. I think the second book has come out. I think it's only a duology, but I've heard positive things. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot about this series. The Cruel Prince was obviously a lot more popular, but it follows Jude's brother Oak and a relationship he has. It seems very intriguing. I do want to give it a go because I did obviously really like the Cruel Prince, and I would like to be back in that world and see Jude and Carden again, and I do really miss them. You know, it's been a long time since I read that series and I miss them a lot. So I think it'd be fun to try the series, read more of Holly Black's writing, and it doesn't hurt for me to try. You know, I've had this on my TBR for so long, I might as well pick it up and read it. And then another book on my TBR, but I can't be bothered to get it, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. The book I own is literally a brick. Like, it is massive and it is so heavy. I don't know how it's possible for me to read it, so I think I might have to buy another copy or read it on Kindle or something. But that book has been on my TBR for a long time. It's a very popular book. A lot of people say it like changed their life and stuff, and I've been putting it off because I'm very unsure about it. I'm unsure how I'm gonna think about it. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the book for me, but I want to give it a go. I want to give it a go really badly. I do want to really pick it up, so I'm going to try to. I think it follows a girl, Addie, who's going back and forth in time, maybe. People say it's like La La Land, which is quite sad. I'm intrigued, but I'm also like, I don't know if that's the type of book I'd like. And then the last book on my TBR that I do not own is Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. So this is a cozy fantasy romance. I recently read my first book from T. Kingfisher, which was a horror book, What Moves the Dead, and I did not like it. Well, I didn't love it, and I'm not a horror fan, so I'm not surprised I didn't love it, but I've really wanted to read cozy fantasy from her because I've heard great things. Sword Heart is a series. I can't for the life of me remember what the book is about, but it sounds really good. Maybe I should look it up. It follows Hala, who discovers an ancient sword that has a man inside. Ooh, there's assassins, and she's after her inheritance, which people are trying to steal from her. It sounds fun. Maybe the romance is with the sword guy. It sounds fun, and I've been really wanting to read it. So that's the last book on my 2026 TBR. Let me know if you read any of these books and your thoughts on them. I'm very excited. I'm going to try really, really hard to read this TBR. You know, 1 year I will finally get it and I will read the books on the TBR. Hopefully it's this year and many years after that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video very, very soon. Bye!